There we go. Thank you. I will see you all in an hour-ish. Okay, see you in a minute.
All right.
Excuse me. Oh. For those of you which are energy sensitive, and maybe even a little clairvoyant, we'd like to do an initial experiment. In a moment, I will withdraw from the medium's mind and reblend after a break of, let us say, 3 seconds. See if you can tell when the connection happens. And then we will begin our session as normal. So I will withdraw now totally to leave the medium's mind here, just for 3 seconds, and you will see the mind. If you're sensitive enough, you'll see the mind come back. The first words cement the link. If we allow the medium's mind to just sit quietly, of course, eventually thoughts will begin to occur once more, and the mind will ramble on in whichever direction. If we just sat in the mind, we may be able to minimize the thoughts, but we may not gain control. And here you would have inspired speech. But by pushing through and allowing those first words to be spoken, which, as I said last time, can be rather difficult for some, can be like pushing through, I believe I used the phrase plastic. Those first words then means we have influence and control. Now, let us carry on with our session. I believe we have rather a long list of healing names today, which we will receive in a moment. All will be held in the heart of the Absolute. All healing will be sent. And if the mind of the recipient is sufficiently pliant, they will receive it. If it is not, it will arrive and it will wait until they are ready. So may I have the healing list, please?
Hi, Ignatius. Yes, here are the following names: Lori P., Lori, Roz, Lena, Milada and Tim, Sonia, Pua, Larry and Nancy, Kelsey, Jacob Lindstad, a little boy who has been battling cancer for a few years and is taken for the worse, Mats, Yvonne, Annalie, Bjorn, Anton, David, Marie, Nina, Sophie, Pekka, Jana, Janet, Haley, Kim, Caddis, Drew, Albin, Mia, Seja, Christos, Antonia, Wivka, Roger, Timo, Marie, Pia, Leaf, Petra, Bia, Thomas, Mark, Chris and Howard Wielden, Loretta, Michelle and Francis Caputo, Marcella, Luca, Jerry, Maureen, Teresa Neal, Charlotte Burridge, Tess Flynn, Lori and John Mans, Chris Osborne, Joe, Sonia, Kelsey, Mark and Sandra, Rosa, Asha and Coulter, Liz, Angie, Emily, Katrina, Kelly, Loy, Isabella, Carmen, Karis, Lucy, Katie, and Pete, Ariel, Ed, Teresa, Nancy, Neil, Jane, Isaac, Adria, Laura, Eileen, and my friend Jane Siebold, who recently transitioned. Thank you.
So in a moment, I will step away and let the other personality begin or continue their talk regarding the signs people get during awakening or a spiritual experience. Next week will be the last for 2 weeks, a 2-week break after next week. Please, if you so wish, bring experiences you wish to resolve or understand. Ones that you may have had over and above the ones mentioned. They should just be about the experiences during your spiritual awakening. You may not understand them, and if you wish to ask a question regarding them or just make a statement, that is perfectly fine. So I will withdraw and allow the other to continue the discussion in his own certain style. You're probably wondering why we're talking about this. Why all these signs are about. Why are we talking about it now? Why is it going on? Well, do you know what? You might think you're going a little bit crazy at times and you're trying to think, what's all this happening? What's going on here? And when we go into the list, a little bit of reassurance is nice, isn't it? That you ain't going too mad. That things are just kind of working all right. That you get these experiences and they're just part of the course. It's not something going wrong necessarily. It's actually something going right. And last week we spoke about the things which you could say are a bit positive. Now some of these you could say are a bit negative, but when you listen to them, they ain't really negative. They're just signs of things happening which give you a little bit of a shake up. Some of them are quite a big shake up, but they're really a sign of spirit being closer, that you've opened yourself to spirit and spirit are kind of shuffling away some of the dust that you gather. things that you hold on to that you haven't really let go of, and that type of thing. And I want to talk and link it through to another conversation as well at some stage. Anyway, let's have a run and let's see where we're going to go with all of this. All right. All right. Well, your first one is you can get sudden surges of emotions. So all of a sudden you're okay, and then you'd feel tearful, or you feel angry, or feel happy for no reason. And this again is quite natural. You see, we're shifting things within you. We're shifting things that is around you. You're wakening up to us. So the light that starts to be with you seems to just remove some of the hard crustiness. And if you're a person that retains some emotions within you, then this can be chiseled away a little bit. You know, if you retain emotions in your heart, we think about your heart, but then emotions are going to be shuffled up a bit. And so you'll get these come to the surface far more often than you ever thought. And you don't even need a specific trigger. You know, you don't have to have a really sad event to feel teary. You just may feel teary. And you may feel, I don't know why I'm angry. Of course, you would like it all to be, I don't know why I feel so much love or happiness, but it could be all sorts of emotions during random times of the day. Very natural, very easy. It's a sign of increased intensity. If you want to increase your vibration, you have to let go of the old vibration, and you'll gain qualities of the new vibration at its lowest level. So the increase in happiness can be just a mild increase, if you know what I mean, not the full-blown awakening happiness, if you know what I'm saying. Now that can come, you can get glimpses of it. You just sit there and it's just like a glimpse of this, I've got it all figured out, comes into your mind, you know, where you know things, the knowledge seems to arrive. Here, you've got to honour these feelings and know why they're about. So if there's a reason for doing this talk, it's this one. This is what happens. The tears may come, the awakening may come, the unsettledness may arrive. The unsettledness that you feel like you've got to do, go somewhere. It's all part of the same thing. The spirit is lifting your vibration slightly by removing what is holding you back. Your vibrational rate really hasn't changed, but let's say you've got rid of a few of those sandbags holding you to the ground, if you know what I mean. So you can find quite a little shift happening. These emotions occur at random times, very random time. You'll find also that there'll be an increased need for solitude. All of a sudden you just thought, you know what? I don't want to be with anybody. Think I'm just going to stay in today. And you must honour these feelings. The desire for solitude means you are connecting internally. Now, this can be quite a bit of a shock for anybody that's an extrovert, where you think, oh, well, normally I'm out, want to be with people. And I want to be there. I want to be in the limelight. I want to be singing and dancing or something. And all of a sudden, no, not tonight. I'm staying in. I just want to read my book, or I want to go to a beach and sit by myself. I want to be in the middle of a forest and just walk. Desire for solitude, again, is the same, because you're wakening up to the connection internally, and you're finding that connection internally is actually more rewarding than the external world. And you start to see people's negativities more. You see them as being what's holding them back, and you see them being all grumpy, but you know you've got a choice. You don't have to be that way. And it gets frustrating. People become frustrating. You get more sensitive to their emotions as well, and you don't want to be involved in it. You see things going wrong, you feel it, you feel sad for them, and you say, come on, we can do something about that. Come be in the present moment, wake up, feel spirit, come meditate. So if you're a person that has high swings of emotions in your normal life, if you know what I mean, very happy, then very sad, you need to connect more to spirit to level it out. Of course, it's your external bit that's going on, your external world that's giving you these swings, and a little bit more spirit time will give you more stability. So the moods will, or the mood swings will level a little bit more. When you get them, they'll be a little bit more dramatic, but they will level a little bit so that you can feel like you can cope most of the time. Then a big swing will happen. And you find that it then, of course, it can become more dramatic, as I said, more dramatic emotions. But again, this will level as well. And you'll find then you can sit in peace and life becomes more manageable. But you must honor these feelings. Remember, they are just going through you. They're not you, they're going through you. There could be a heightening of all your senses. So interestingly, people here can start to hear noises, can hear whispers. They can hear a high-pitched sound. Maybe you hear a buzzing like bees, or maybe you just hear a gentle harmonic sound. The sound seems to ring in your ears a lot, even to the point you might even hear a few words. Again, these are the higher vibrations working and affecting your ears. You are tuning to the next level, if you know what I'm saying, the real bit underneath. We can't give you from, let's say, if you're at number 0, we can't put you on a 10 straight away. You have to go through the whole process. So your awakening has to take time. Remember, you're revealing your inside, your truth, your spiritual nature, your real you. And if everything needs to drop away, and if everything dropped away dramatically, people can have quite a nervous breakdown. And I use that word carefully, it's not quite true, but all of a sudden the shift is so strong they cannot cope. It does occur very rarely, but it must be gentle. So the hearing bit has to be very soft. Of course, it can pick up in intensity. You may also start to hear voices, and not just voices within the sound, but voices separate to the sound as well. There is a sensitivity to noise that can increase all the time. It's just there all the time. This is quite natural too. You may then start to see things. You see sparkles, you see shadows, you see lights, you see auras, you see colours, you see orbs. Again, all of these is your eyes are becoming more sensitive to the non-physical world. You may see spirits, you may see pixies and fairies, you may see shadows at the corner of your eye. Eyesight then is improving and changing to the non-physical. Your third eye is opening, the sensations. There's feelings, not just the emotional feelings, but feelings of people being with you. Feelings of you have to do something. Feelings that you just feel that the person next to you isn't right. Your sense of feeling what's going on. You get more knowledge and knowing, the knowing of who you are, what's going on. You know things about you. Perhaps I know things I shouldn't know or don't want to know, but I know them. I know things about the neighbour. I know what to do in a difficult situation. I know where I should go or what I should do, or I know I should do something, but I don't know what. All this knowing picks up, and at times it's confusing. All of these are confusing. This leads you into stages where you go, oh, what's going on? What am I supposed to do? I just know something's happening. So all the knowing improves. You can become sensitive to tastes and feelings of one thing's being right or wrong. Maybe you lose your desire for meat. Maybe you feel like you're going to eat fresh. Maybe you've got to eat a certain way. Again, all of this becomes important. You could be sensitive to light or to dark or to heat or to cold. The world feels tingly on the outside. Remember, your light is beginning to shine into the world. So everything gets amplified. Now, there's lots more of them experiences, but this is really all your senses have gone up a notch. Not just your 5, but your 6th sense as well has gone up a notch. Now, if you remember what's really occurring in your 6th sense, your knowing, is when people start their journey, they begin to feel like they're being guided. Coincidences start to crop up more. There's lights. Like I feel like I've got to go to there to do something, and then there's a notice somewhere, or somebody mentions in a conversation a meditation class. Now this is because the light internally, is reflecting externally, but it's seen externally, and they don't realize the internal light is creating it. So again, using the example, I know I've got to do something, and then your friend mentions a meditation class. So internal push first that sees the external thing happen. But people think it's the external thing first that lights the internal. It's the other way around. The internal here, the light has begun to shine internally, and it's created the external event. So of course, then everything externally starts to become, well, initially a little bit chaotic. It's confusing. It's, what have I got to do? When am I going to do it? What's happening to me? I better go to doctors and sort this out. Of course, there can be some medical conditions here that get invigorated. Hence the light also driving the emotions. I feel like the emotions are changing, and the feelings of the world is changing. You feel like your world is beginning to change. You can also get very vivid dreams. Your dreams pick up. Your dreams become significant. Your dreams become different to what they used to be. Where before they were just ramblings, now they seem to have more of a defined purpose. The dreams can become more predictive. They can be more clarifying. You can find that people can have scary dreams and more of them. The feeling of letting go, needing to let go, the feeling of needing to change, the feeling of needing to move on, move away, to let go of the old self. All of this seems to happen, and it occurs in many strange ways for people, sometimes even frightening ways, as fear seems to be disturbed. The dreams become chaotic. Again, if you look underneath it, you see the light is beginning to build. The mind is going through clarification. The internal light is asking the external world to change. Old issues here become a problem. If you're somebody that has a particular fear or particular problem, that can be really highlighted. All of a sudden it's highlighted, and you think then, if all my fears are getting more, they're not getting less. And you would say, well, I can't be having a spiritual experience because I'm more fearful. Surely I'll be more loving. Well, initially you do have to be more fearful. We have to blow all that away. It's to be moved on. It's not going to serve you tomorrow, so we need to remove it today. Do you see what I mean? And really, it's not us that's removing it at all. I'm saying us, but it's really your own spiritual nature, which we are part of course. So fears tend to arise as well. Senses, emotions, solitude. You can also feel like then certain events in your life start to change. Now, for many, this is the most dramatic of all. All of a sudden, you might divorce, separate. Friends seem to disappear. Some friends don't serve you. Some friends are not on the same planet as you. Some friends you find too prickly. Their emotions are too uncomfortable for you. Their negativity is not right for your sensitivity. You may find that they are too egotistical or materialistic, or they demand too much of the time. Maybe they're not givers and you are. You start then to wake up and see narcissism in different places because you want to give and they want to take. And you see these people in different lights. Now, people here on an awakening see the narcissism. It's not that it wasn't there before, it was. They just wake up to it. They're shifting, they're changing. So anybody that's empathic will start now to see the narcissism is around in more than one location, but very commonly in one particular location. Narcissistic people are everywhere. In essence, it's the narcissism that keeps the human nature, keeps the separation by it's me. It's all for me. What do I want? What can I get? Where the empath changes into more of a dualistic, a unified, not dualistic, a unified nature. What can I give? And you may shift from lower levels to higher levels, or from higher levels to higher, even more higher. And these people here, the shift changes. Now, let me tell you this, changes from what I can get, narcissistic, to what I can give, and then into everything is fine the way it is. Anyway, they're of different levels as well. Look, not only do the dreams become bigger, the changes and events in your life starts to happen, and all of this leads to an enormous shake-up. You may have to leave the person that is holding you tied to the earth. And of course, that may not be a person, it may be a job. It may be a location where you live. Maybe you live in somewhere that's, let's say, very religious and keeps you too confined within an order, or very materialistic. Everybody's out to get the biggest car and biggest house. That may change. You know that that doesn't serve you. There may be a desire to move away from cities, to go live in smaller places, to live on the coast, to live more simplistic, move away from all those needing to get bigger and better and buy the most expensive food you can find. You may change into the more simple food, the simple life, a life which gives you greater rewards from smaller or lesser amounts. This pushes you away from people to begin with. It seems to give you separation. It seems to give you a distance between you. And again, you feel like it's contradictory. You're getting a distance in order to get to unity. That seems contradictory, doesn't it? But those who are not ready to wake up will not understand this change in you. But only the people who either gone through it or going through it or understand it will understand in you that these changes are needing to happen. And then all of a sudden, electronic things don't work. You watch your computer, the microwave, the television seems to be all a bit blinky, if you know what I mean. And and it seems to not work properly. You get things happening to the radio. It seems to jump in, jump out. It seems to crackle more. Things are not happening more. You let's say you drill or something seems to break down more often. You never seem to have the right thing to work. You have to change. Now you either buy something new or you get rid of it totally and go back to, let us call it something more basic. Go back to stirring with a spoon, for example. Now, you may find again that there is a call away from electronic phenomena. You find computers become more difficult for you. Television becomes more problematic. You cannot watch TV the same. You may find you want to get rid of TV totally. What you thought was there that you really desired and you couldn't do without, all of a sudden go, oh no, I can't watch that. I just don't need to. You see the negativity in the screen. You see the violence. You see the horror. You see the difficulties. You see the pain and suffering in people. No, I'm sure you've all recognised this, listening to this. I ain't saying nothing new, am I? I'm just putting it in words. You are going through this. And rather than watching television, you may find, I will go do some gardening. I will go for a walk. I will go take the dog out, whatever. Maybe I'll plant a tree or two. So these are all things that you get satisfied with. Is different to what it was. Now, the material world, they will have trouble letting go of these things. They will not relate to these things that you get more enjoyment out. They get enjoyment out of bigger and better and brighter and more, let's say, more sparkly if necessary. But all of a sudden you're becoming more simplistic. The light in you is saying, well, we don't need that. So you may find you want to declutter at these stages. You want to get rid of all those ornaments you thought you had, that you thought you liked, and you realise they don't do anything for you. You look around your house and you see every ornament has a dollar value attached to it. That was $20, that was $10, that was $100, that was $50, and it just sits there. All your ornaments and all your things has a dollar amount attached to it, but not just a dollar amount, also an energetic amount. You carry every television set that you have on your back. You think you do not, but you do. Try living a life without it and you'll see what I mean. More simplicity. Because you've got a television set, you think you have to turn it on. But when you awaken, you have a television set and you can just leave it alone. Leave that little black square on the wall. Come back to you later. You find what you attach to becomes different as well, even within the desire for news. You want more happy news, less sad news, less dramatic, more realization. You just, again, with these surge of emotions, you can find, let's say, anything scary, more scary, anything sad, more sad, anything happy, more happy. You will get the shivers of enjoyment during all of this as well. And up pops then old memories, old behaviors, maybe old friends. Now, this is quite a long way into the process. So it can occur to a minor degree during it, but then it occurs in a major degree later. Now, you don't always experience this old friends bit in quite the level I'm talking about until you're a long way into your progress, but it will occur. So old memories, old friends, old events. Now, I said before, and this is a connection that I was talking about to another talk. Let me just go through that other talk a little bit and you understand it. When you go into your deep, darkest depths of meditation, a black hole appears. and you have to walk into that black hole. But before you do, you have to surrender what was important in your life. But then this black hole shows you all the things that you did not surrender. If you think you let go of a certain incident and you walk into a black hole, this incident will reoccur in quite a scary way. Here, the spiritual path is quite intense. We have to wash away all that old memory, all that old issues, things that you've retained, things you've not dealt with, things you're not clear on, you've not forgiven, either yourself or another. Let's say you did something you shouldn't have done when you were a teenager and you forgot about it and you forgot to let go and forgive, but it's there. At these points, that comes back again. And it comes back in quite a scary way. It comes back maybe in a different form. And this becomes very dramatic now. And I want to emphasize the word very. It becomes so dramatic that it can be almost knock you right off your perch. Your resolve is being tested. And your resolve for this clarity of who you are has to come into the forefront. You are only in this darkness because you haven't let go of the past. And this is like going through a car wash, if you want. You go in dirty and you have to get beaten up a bit and shoved and polished and tickled and sprayed. And you have to honor this as your cleansing. It can become very, very problematic for many people. Many people can fall apart. They can feel like I'm having a total breakdown. It can feel so dramatic that they can become almost suicidal and reclusive. But when you go into that car wash, you come out a different car. You come out, you went in muddy, come out sparkly. If you can continue, stay with your path, you will come out brighter and shinier and sparkly and looking all good to the world, and you will never go through that again. This is the most dramatic form of awakening. It can happen at different stages. You can see now that if that happened on day one, it will be too problematic. The light will be too strong. It has to be slowly, slowly, gradually. And if it doesn't work that way, then it can do more harm than good. It has to be tender. It has to be just loving, or just a little bit more light now, a little bit more. And you lot all say, I want to wake up quicker. Give me more gifts now. I want my mediumship to be 10 times tomorrow. If you can organise it, please hurry up. Come on, chop, chop. But we can't. We can't because it ain't in your best interest. If you went to bed at night and said, I want my mediumship to be 10 times tomorrow, and we did it, we said, there you go, then you can have all this light, the world will be so chaotic for you, so dramatic, that all of a sudden it's like putting new hearing aids in your ear and they've been turned up to full volume. You've gone from hearing nothing to hearing everything, and you think, no, I can't do that. You'll be seeing spirit people everywhere. You've seen lights everywhere, auras everywhere. You'd know the story of everybody and everything. You'd know what was going on all the time. And you may think, well, that would be wonderful to begin with when you think about it. But this is your egoic nature wanting a bigger gift. It's not the truth of your spiritual nature. So walking through this cave is to cleanse the last bit of ego. And you come out of it all bright and sparkly, but that's not the way it feels when you go through it. You see, it's like when people have near-death experience, they walk along a dark corridor with a light at the end. that light has to be small to grow. When they walk into the light, it feels blinding right at the initially, and then they realize, no, it's not blinding at all. Just a contrast between the dark and the light. And this shakes the world up, or your view of the world, and you see it differently. So the walking through the experience is kind of like the near-death experience, which is kind of like the awakening experience, which is kind of like the transition experience. All of it, if you think about it, is embodying the light, letting the light into the world. So you're going to find that your old world drops away in smaller amounts, from very minor experiences to very major experiences. You may find that during all of this there is dizziness. You may find this heaviness. The heaviness as you start the process, to the dizziness as you just seem to get used to the process. The heaviness of feeling the weight of the world, and the dizziness, the weight of the light, if you wish. Of course, there's no weight, but you get me. Just sounds more poetic, doesn't it? Weight of the world and weight of the light. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. But it can feel so dramatic for people. It can give them feelings and sensations in part of their body. You know, maybe your hands constantly buzz. Maybe your feet are full of energy. Maybe your head feels more swimmy. You feel more fog in your mind. It's that glass of water full of sediment. While the sediment's all at the bottom, it's okay. But if we shuffle it up a bit, so the world has to stop. Remember in the Bible, a new heaven, a new earth? Well, when there's more clarity, things need to be cleansed away. So you get the storm, and then you get the light, the new day as such. So you feel that all this negativity you feel is a negative part. Many people now say, I don't know what's going on. My life on this spiritual path has got worse, not got better. Do you want your life to improve? Well, you may have to walk through a little bit of a storm. You may have to let go of things that you did not want to let go of, or you thought you didn't. But you will let go of conditional love to gain unconditional love. You'll let go of the egoic nature to control to the spiritual nature of to create. This is when you're going through it, when it's so in control, very dramatic to let go of that control. I've got to just trust. Now, you could all say those words, but can you actually do it? Can you say, all right, I want this spiritual progress, I'll trust, I'll let go of my money or my desire for time, or let go of this job. I am a medium, I am an astrologer. Can you let go of that and become the true spirit? All of these are just titles that you've put on yourself. They're not who you are. But you've gained an identity from them, haven't you? You gain this identity of being, I am mother, I am father, I am accountant, I am rich, I am grandmother. That's not who you are. All of it, at some stage, you have to let go of. You either let go of before or during, or maybe even after your transition. They are going. This is what's meant by you've got to die before you die. It's the death of your egoic or your false self to realize your true self. You can see now that people want to hold on to their full self because they think it's real. I think this is all I have. I've got this. This is me. This house, this ability to do what I want when I want. Don't you find at the moment there's people going through this exact thing? A lot more solitude, a lot more time on their own, a lot more confusion, a lot more difficulty, a lot more trauma and dramaticness. Holding on to the old self can cause here anxiety and depression. There is the real self underneath it that can begin to shine. Now, if you want to teach, help, or guide others, knowing these steps and knowing what's going through is critically important. Your student or your person you are guiding will go through these at different times, at different spaces. You may get number 3, then number 1. You may get it all at the same time. You have to hold their course for them. Remember, you are the light. Come back to the peace, come back to the meditation. Some may choose not to walk any further. This change is too confronting. This change is too dramatic. I've been asked to make a change, but I can't let go of that need for fame and fortune yet. If you can't, well, go follow that for a while. Come back when you're ready. Don't judge them. You're going to want to, as the teacher or guide, change them. You're going to want to say to them, but meditate, you'll know the way. Come to meditation classes, come and sit in silence, come and sit with me. And they will. They'll come, okay, you can be my answer. And they come and sit with you and they go, yeah, that was lovely. I really enjoyed it. Let's do it tomorrow. But then after, let's say 10 times, you can see in them that they're not ready to give it up yet. They're not ready to make that shift. They're not fully committed. They enjoy it for a while. Yeah, it's lovely. I enjoyed that. But then session number 8, oh, I'm not feeling well today. I think I might stay in. Between 6 and 8, as in the number of times they come, between 6 and 8 is their most difficult time. The newness has worn off, the commitment is showing itself to them. The desire for change is there. They ain't ready. You just honor your light. You cannot make people change. Honor your light, be your light, shine your light, let your difficulties be away. Through all of these difficult changes, and some of them are not so difficult, some of them are incredibly problematic, you have to honor your light. And then you have to honor the light within your student or your friend. Honor that light. Hold your light will hold their light. Your desire for empathy. You will see, I struggled just like you when you were there. Some have the fortitude now to push on. Most do not. You must still honor your light as the teacher. Honor this light, come to your light. You're going to go through more More yet, we'll go through a second round of all of this, where all of this is more intense. The teacher then will also go through the desire of stopping themselves, as they start to think, I am not gaining, until the teacher realizes they are creating. The teacher creates the client, and the client comes showing the problems the teacher needs to learn. So the teacher and the student, which one is which? It's difficult to say, isn't it? You think the teacher's doing the teaching, but the student arrives to show the problem the teacher is having. So is the student the teacher, or is the student? Oh, you know what I mean. It's mixed up, isn't it? So if we don't know which one's the teacher and which one's the student, and in fact both teacher and student are just one, then all that matters is the light. Or all that matters is the teaching. Not who's saying it and who's hearing it, because you can't tell. So when you go into a relationship with a partner, if you are very aware or sufficiently aware, you'll realize there's three parts to the relationship. Let us say partner one, partner two, the relationship three. The relationship seems to have its own identity in times. That is the important bit. Partner one should not worship partner two and vice versa. Partner one should worship the relationship. And then partner one and partner two will benefit. You'll see what I mean if you ever get there. Worship the relationship. Don't you always say to people, when there's a difference of opinion, that your love or your friendship is more important? That's worshipping the relationship. Not the ego of the other person, but what unifies both of you. If you like, the spirit or the relationship, the friendship. When you honor this, you see this. When two or more gather together in my name, I will be there. Remember, gather together in my name, I will be there. Meaning, it's the relationship you honor. So when your friend or your student decides to give up, or decides to come with a challenge you cannot see or face or help them with, honor the friendship, honor the love. And if they give up, go away, go back to old habits, honor the relationship, not the choice that's being made. And then you'll feel the connection between the two of you is stronger. So, you have a choice in your awakening. So there's around 10 of them negative ones, as well as roughly 10 positives. And you have a choice with these, how far you walk with them. They're not just at the beginning. They're constant throughout. You may find that your need for solitude does not come until the end rather than at the beginning. You may not get the surge of emotions until the very last thing, not the first thing. Remember, it is all just the light disturbing the dark. And the dark has to fall away because it cannot stay true within light. You'll be constantly tested to see, do you want more or not? If you want more light, be prepared that your darkness may be tested. And it will feel uncomfortable in the beginning and during, before you realize the light underneath it. But there you will go eventually into that light. You'll become that light. You ain't got no choice. You can only ever be what you are. And the events of life then seem to be very different. You may drop back a little bit and then go forward a little bit. Go back and forth for a while, but gradually improving. All right, I'm going to go. Ta-ra, everybody. Take care. So often there is somewhat of a border between the light and the dark. And some people may find they oscillate between light and dark. Or if you like, their old ways and their new ways. It can be difficult at times to let go of your old ways and to move into your new. But you know that there is a discomfort, a feeling of something else. And often there is a feeling of doom. Something's coming. Something is going to happen. There is a tenuous link of holding on to your dark when the light begins to shine. And you know the light is coming. And you know the light is where you must go, but you haven't seen it yet. So an impending doom is also a sign that the light is coming in your direction. A change. So next week, we will talk about if you bring any experiences, what these experiences are. As I said, there may be a question or they just may be a comment. Now you bring these experiences for your own clarity, but you actually bring them for the else, all else in the group. The more you share, the more others will feel connected. Does not matter if this is a minor experience or a major. They will all fit in with the light disturbing the dark. So I leave you there. God bless you all. Until next week, let that peace be within your heart and place your concentration there. Concentrate on the light and whatever that means to you.